I mean, for me, it's like IIM days are as fresh as yesterday. That's when it hit me hard that I think I've grown old. And those days, it was still beautiful building. I mean, it was a classic architecture by Doshi even those days, right? It was not easy. Those days, you spend a lot of money to just make a phone call. When I recently attended the alumni meet in London, right? So, and we meet every month in London, So I was talking to somebody, there's a lot of young alumni who are there. And the first thing you ask is, okay, which batch are you from? The realization dawned on me when recently, so I said I'm from the 91 batch. The young alumni who was with me and we were talking, he said that I was not born in 1991. That's when it hit me hard that I think I've grown old. Otherwise, in your head, you still feel that for me, it's like IIM days are as fresh as yesterday. How we used to sit at the student canteen and how we used to have Maggie at the 9th canteen and how we used to, it's not very, very, it doesn't feel like it's a long time ago. But of course, everything has changed. I mean, if you go now, how the campus looks and how it is versus how it was when I joined, obviously it's a lot different. But when we meet up as with batchmates, and it just comes back instantly. It doesn't take more than a minute. In fact, 2 days ago I met up with Mahesh. So he's based in Bangalore. He runs a company and he's done very, very well for himself. So he came to London for some personal, his brother's son's marriage, and we met up, and I mean, it just doesn't feel like we just instant. So he used to play the guitar those days. I used to play the guitar. We instantly, we ended up, in a pub in London. Both of us went and had a good time together. It's like, I mean, time hasn't just flown at all since those days. And that's
Tell us more about your Bangalore days. Tell us more about your Bangalore days.
So Bangalore
how much guitar, how much pubbing, and how much studying did you do?
So when I went into IIM Bangalore, first of all, the campus was very different, right? So the campus was still, the library building was not there. So it was under construction. The hostel was, I think only some of the blocks were. I think G and H were not yet built. So I think there were 50 of us which were actually living in the staff quarters. So as students, the first few, I think first term or the first year, many of us actually stayed in the staff quarters because there was not enough room for us in the campus, in the hostel. So I'm talking about those days when the campus was just being built, still being built. We didn't have a library, active library. I think in the second year, we actually got the access to the library. And the plants are later, like it's when you go now, you can't recognize. There's no comparison, right? And those days, it was still beautiful building. I mean, it was a classic architecture by Doshi even those days, right? It was one of the buildings which has won several awards, and so and coming from where I was, because I was a small town boy, for me it was still absolutely amazing. When we used to walk to the class, and this typical, the whole architecture of IIMB is very, very open to the sky kind of architecture. And it used to feel fantastic. But at the same time, personally, for me, the first term was all about, gauging where I stand, because I had no clue of whether, I will survive in this place or not, because you don't know. Most of the guys are, well, the moment you talk to them, everybody's got credentials which is scary. That, everybody is like coming with absolutely impeccable backgrounds and so on and so forth. So the campus was very different those days, and I still remember we were considered to be, Banarghata was considered to be back of the beyond. So most of the auto rickshaws, they would refuse to go there, and it will take a lot of cajoling, requesting them that, okay, please, from Jayanagar to Banarghata used to be like, oh, I'm going into the, back of the beyond kind of a feeling those days. It was not easy. Those days we used to do, typical STD calls where it would take you, you have to queue up and you have to spend a lot of money to just make a phone call. Letters. I remember first year we used to actually write letters. We didn't have any other. So you'd reach Bangalore, you would write a letter. It'll take 10 days, 15 days to reach home. Then they will write a letter. So the first communication from home used to take about a month. And for 1 month, you don't know, how's everybody. They don't know how you're doing. So it was a very different world. It's very difficult to describe. I don't think youngsters can even visualize what kind of life it was those days, right?
I tell you. So I've grown up similar.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, not when I was in the IIM days, when that was exactly, and I've grown up with those memories.